All right. All right, let's get back to the game development part of this. Now that that's settled. I left off on my last stream. I put in a power, an ability for my holy tower. And I will show that off right now. So it actually has two powers going on at the same time right now. One is going to be a holy beam. It's just literally a line that draws to an enemy. The new one is a lightning bolt that strikes a random enemy and then shoots out holy bolts, which is very derivative of Diablo 2's Fists of the Heavens. So here we go. Every 4 seconds or so, it's going to pick a random enemy, and boom, there it goes. I'm not applying damage at the moment, but it is functional. I'm pretty happy with the holy bolts themselves, these balls. I might end up changing out the lightning sprite. It's a little two-dimensional. If I pause this right there on the strike, like, it's not terrible, but almost, to me, it looks a little bit spritey, whereas this is sort of like semi 3D, right? So it's a little bit placeholder. Let me go into that effect. Let me go into that sprite, and I'm going to see if I can put any more lipstick on it. If not, I might be on the search for a new lightning bolt tonight, just to kind of really bring that home. But let me see. That would be under... What did I call that thing? I do not know what I called it. My goodness. I just called it Fist of Heavens. There you go. So let me look at the effects that I've applied. I've applied no effects. Maybe applying like a slight glow would look pretty good. So I'll just start and see what the basic glow effect looks like on it. So let's test that out first. Get one of these on the scene, call in the enemies, and all right, there's the lightning bolt. So how do we feel about that? It's a little bit fuzzier, which is a good thing, because, you know, lightning is so bright that it, even though it is actually a crisp line, we probably perceive it a bit blurry because it's so bright in the dark sky. To me, that seems fine. It just looks like I need to add another light source at the top of it, because it's actually pretty dark up there. The alternative would be to just make this existing light brighter. So we have a couple of choices there. I'm going to rename this, though. I'll call it Holy FOH. Sprite. Something like that. And then I should probably rename this one accordingly as well. I'll call it Holy Sorry, the music got kind of loud. Rename that again. Let's call it Holy FOH Light. And I'm going to move all of these into the appropriate folder here because it's getting kind of messy. So me drag this folder down here. So that would be towers, tower objects, and it all needs to go into there. Like so. The meteor goes in there as well. Oh wait, does it? Which one is this? I don't think I need that one at all. I think that was a placeholder. I'll leave it in there at the moment. Alright, next, let's get that light source and increase the light radius. Which would be right here. So the let me go to the light over here in the objects. I could do this programmatically, but I'm going to try just setting the object value over here first. See if it does the trick. So right here, instead of 100, let's try, I don't know, let's try 175. And give this a test. If this doesn't work, then I'm going to bring that back down and just add a second light at the top of the lightning sprite. So it's even brighter, but does the lightning look like it's alive? You know, does it look electrical? I still feel like the top of that is very lacking. It's dark, and no part of lightning should be dark. So I am going to have to add another light. I'm okay with it having that brighter radius, though. So I'm going to go in here, and where I create the holy light, I'm actually going to add a sub-event right here. And this is where I'm going to create that light. And then that gets stuck to the lightning bolt. And then I think I duplicate this. Except instead of putting it at the exact same place, I'm going to add it to the y coordinate that is, let me see, can I do bounding box? Let's do the lightning bounding box top, and then we'll do like plus. Plus about, I don't know, we'll say 15 pixels. Let's see how that looks. So now there should be two. One at the top of the lightning, one at the bottom. And it should fill it out a little bit more in terms of the light. So it's not a dark lightning bolt. So, holy tower, and here we go. Okay, the first one occurred off screen. Let's wait for the next one. There, well, there it is. Okay, it is much brighter. There we go. Now it looks like the whole thing is electrical. I added the glow effect, so now it looks a little less 2D, maybe a little more like a light source. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. And I did add a sound effect for this earlier, but I'm going to wait to put that in because if I change up the speed of the animation or anything like that, then the sound would have to be redone. So I'm going to wait for that. So with that being said, what I'm going to do for the rest of tonight, and here's a bright screen, so fair warning, is I need to add another, I'm going to cross this off the list here. And Holy Beam is pretty much done as well. So I need to add some abilities for the towers, right? And I have nothing for the blood tower, nothing for the water tower. Arcane bolts we do have. And so let's see here. Water, we could do a beam. We could do a beam, and I could technically create that the same way that the Holy Tower has a beam. And then maybe I can find a way to make it look better. But I'm also thinking about rain. So, and this might be an ultimate ability as well. So I have a couple of ultimate abilities. So we could do like, I don't know, monsoon or something. Is that how you spell that? Monsoon. Looks funny spelled out. That's kind of what I'm thinking for that one. The ice tower. This could have, obviously you could do like, you know, a blizzard. Could also do, well, I mean, that's probably the main one, but I was also thinking a freezing cloud. And then the freezing cloud might be a better tower ability rather than an ultimate. So with that being the case, how could we do rain? Obviously, for the rain, obviously we could add just particles. But I would need to find a way to make that look like it's interacting with the world. So let me see here. And do I want it to rain like from the tower or from the sky? I mean, it kind of makes sense to come from the sky, but then how do we know that the tower is doing it is kind of the problem. So shield degen. Shield degen is one of the sort of attributes, but the abilities are these. So let me clean this up a little bit. Let's play around with a water beam for now. So I'm going to do something very similar to the Holy Tower right here. So I'm going to basically duplicate these. And this will be water tower heads. So, you know, this is where you paint your local high school's football team name. That's what they do on water towers, right? Okay. So this actually needs to come out. This is annoying. Sometimes if I miss drag, then it puts these events further down below where I don't see them. So I feel like it's freezing up. Hold on. It knows I'm streaming, so it's giving me attitude. Let's see, what time is it? 9:08. I might have lost progress. I don't know when I lost it. let me take a look at the events here, see what the Holy Tower is up to, and if I lost any progress here. Okay, I did not lose progress, so we're good. All right, all I want to do is copy this simple event. And then I'm going to paste it here. Collapse that down, drag it down. I'll drag it down to below the Holy Tower area. Actually, below that. Right here. Okay. Let me add a comment so I know where I am. This is water tower heads. And make this blue. All right. So I need to create a water tower head because my towers are built in two parts. They have the tower base and the tower head. So that way the tower head can like pivot and redirect toward enemies and that sort of thing. And the base will stay stationary. So let me go to my towers folder, drag that back upward because I moved it. And go to the tower heads. I need to create a new one. And right now it's all placeholder art. It's pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to just duplicate one of these. I'm going to call it tower head water. And let's see what we're working with here. It has a glow. I'm going to change the color of the glow to a different kind of blue. Something like this. And apply. And then what variables do we have here? Attack speed. Yeah, all the standard ones. I need to add this to a group. So let me go to my tower heads group and add it. Done. And go into here. This will be tower head water. And from here, I can start adding my events in. So the reason I copied from the Holy Tower is because I want to steal the beam effect. So I'm going to replace the Holy with water. And this is where manual entry often leads to error, but I'll try to get it right the first time. Okay, shape painter, holy beam. I need a different shape painter, so I'll do that in just a moment. What do we have here? I'm going to delete that. Don't need it. I'm going to disable this for the moment. Don't need that right now. Don't need that right now. We just need to get the effect going. So let's do a shape painter object. And what this is basically the color that we're going to draw. So let me go to shape painter. Which one? Holy. Holy was the last one that I made. Right here. So I'm going to copy that one. Or rather duplicate it. So water beam. Open that up. We don't want yellow. We want blue. The outline, I don't know. Let's just take the same color as the fill. and then maybe it's just a slightly lighter colored. Something like that. All right, so that will start. Let me see here. We don't want this timer either. So this will be, I guess, water timer. I'll use that later. Don't need it at the moment. What I need to do next is now this might be a thicker beam than the holy one. Not totally sure here. Now I need to go up and actually create these towers. So whenever the tower upgrade button is clicked, that's where we create this. So let me find where that is. Right here. So if the blue one is clicked, the dark blue, that's going to create the water tower head. Can't miss any of these or I'll get errors all day long. Okay. Excuse me. So that will work. Let's see if this is... Let's see if it's creating it properly. I've done several things all at once, so let's do a little test. So if I click on the blue button, okay, we are in fact getting this blue thing. So again, it's just placeholder for now, just something to look different from the rest. And it's currently shooting the beam. I didn't change... Oh, I didn't tell it to use the different shape painter, but it is drawing correctly. So let me set the shape painter. Let's go down below. Right here. Right here, we need to change the shape painter to the water beam. And let's give that another test. Place a tower out here, click the blue button. And so I had to drag that off the scene, off screen, so that the shape painter would be visible. So here we go. We now have a beam drawing to the enemy from this water tower. And yeah, it's sort of a blue. I want to find a way to make this look good. It's pretty basic. And it's very similar to the holy tower. So one thing I'm going to try, I'm wondering if I can add an effect to this that would look decent. For example, a glow. Let's try this. Wait, that's an outline. I need a glow. All right, let's try this. Let me rename it to glow. And yeah, let's just start with that. If I can actually do this. It's not very blue, is it? So let's go back into that. Let me change the outline color to the fill color as well. It should be nearly all blue. Just a little bit of green in there. And let me double check the Glow. Oh, it changed my glow color. That's why. So I can just change that to the exact same color. Can maybe make it slightly lighter just so that there's a little bit of a variance. Something like that. Let's test that out. Just playing around here. Just got to get something into the game that's functional and gives the idea. And then at some point I'll come through and fine tune all of the effects. So, and then what I could do from here is probably add like particles, you know, water droplets are splashing out of the tower area. Maybe they're splashing off of the enemy here. So I could do that next. And what would this do? Maybe it has like a slowing effect. I think I actually did, if I go back to my spreadsheet, this is probably going to actually degenerate shield. So this is going to be very technical. So if I have enemies that are shielding, this is going to sap the shield as like a damage over time. And in order for that to be better than just raw damage, I think that it needs to be very effective at sapping the shield from that one enemy. So, but I'm going to start with the particles. Grab a particles emitter here. And I don't have anything pre-planned for this particular effect because I'm just making it up on the fly. So I might need to go get like a decent, kind of like a droplet. Let's see here. What I'm looking at are I'm more interested in the actual images that each of these are using. Some of them use like a square, some of them use a, you know, like an octagon or something. And I'm not sure specifically what I want here. Maybe the bubbles. If I open up that right here, so now you can see the that's the sprite. So if I open that up in the editor without any transparency, it looks like that. But of course it does have transparency, which makes it look smoother. So that's not terrible. Just not sure what I want it to look like. I can add the exact same blue that we're using for the beam. And what do we want it to look like here? How big are these? Let's just plop this out onto the scene and see what we're working with. Okay, so they're definitely getting really big in size. They're going from 50%. No, they're going from 10% to 75. I would want to keep them around maybe 8%, like pretty small. Spray cone angle 360, that's fine. That's for the emitter force, pretty small actually. I would say maybe even like 10 to 30. And I would want gravity, quite a bit of gravity. Let's try 300. And the lifetime would be like maybe 0.5 to 0.8. Let's give that a shot. Okay. So It's not too terribly far off from what I'm looking for. The gravity might be a little high. Let's drop that down to 200 and see what that looks like. And I might also create, let me actually rename this. Call it water beam particle. And then add a light. All right, add new object, add a light. This will be the water beam light. And for this one, we could try the same blue as everything else. Let's give it a radius, I guess 50. Let's just do 60 and apply. And let's put that right under where the particles are and test this out. So this is going to be the effect, the particle effect that's on the enemy when they're getting hit with the beam. So it's very blue. Since it's like that, now I'm thinking, let me see. So the radius of the emitter is currently 1 point at 0. Let's expand that out to 10, a radius of 10. Let's see what we're working with here. Excuse me. That should work. Maybe 12, and then we'll call it good. And then I think we don't actually need 50 per second. Let's drop that down to, I don't know, 20. It just seems very, very, very full. I'm not sure it needs to be. Okay, let's try 25 and then we'll call that good. Slightly more, and then probably what would look nice is if the what would look nice is if the particles started slightly larger and ended slightly smaller, I think. Maybe, I think they're dropping in size a little too much there, actually. It's all trial and error. All right, last test, and then we'll stick these onto the enemies. Yeah, we'll go with that. So all right, now we have our water beam light and our water beam particle. The light needs to have the sticker behavior. And the particle does as well. So the enemies need a new variable. Let me see how I did this with the other beam. So what I was doing was giving them the variable right here. So I'm going to copy these behaviors and bring them down here. I already did, actually. I'm so smart. Okay. But we don't want the same variable, so let's rename it. Go to, let me see, is that on It's on the enemies. So under my enemies group, edit the variables. We'll call it water targeted as a Boolean. And then apparently I also had a has light variable, so I guess I'll add that as well. Water has light. And then also a water no, that's fine. Let me get rid of this one. Okay. So let's just change this to water has light of enemies. Wait, did I make that a... I think I made that a number. Boolean. We need a Boolean. There we go. If that is false, then do those things. Actually, that should be true. What I do up above? Yeah, they're both false. All right. All right. I was not wrong. So I'm going to take the variable and plug it in here. Not really sure why I have a separate line doing the same thing. Oh, that's the targeted one. That's why. Okay. That works. And then we're adding in the water beam light. We're sticking it to it. We are going to add the water particle. Why are there two of those? Okay, we just need one of those. And stick the particle to the enemies. Stick the water beam light to the enemies. And are we going to change the angle? I think we're not changing the angle of the particles. And then the next thing I need to do is find a way to remove these. So it'll be up under the enemy's conditions. Just like this. So let's copy these. Drag those to the left. Yeah, let me see. I misdragged something here. Okay. I want these, and I want to copy them. I hate the way that it's copying them out. Why is it doing it this way? So it should be the timer, the true and the false, timer, true and false. And so, all right, let me add a comment here so I can see what I'm doing. This is the enemies and the water beam. Let me make that blue. So what I'm doing is this is underneath a check for repeat for each instance of enemies. And I could probably add another check here to say what should I do? Tell you what, let me add a couple of little optimization things. If the number of enemies is greater than 0, then we want it to do this check. And then we could do another check here for yeah, well, we'll leave it like this. So we're going to change the timer though. We're going to check the water timer of the enemies. And basically just swap out all these variables for the water version. Wait, one of these was... yeah. Basically what we're doing is adding the particles and the light effect, and then if the enemy is no longer targeted, we need to make sure that those are taken away. So we're enabling the glow effect on the enemy. Change the variable has light set to false. Now let me go back to the enemies. And there's a glow effect, but I'm not sure if it's the right color or not. So let me open those up and see what effects we have. So that's a glow, that's a yellow glow. So we actually need, can I copy this? I'm going to call this actually the yellow glow. And then I'm going to add a new one, which is also a glow. But I'll call it blue. I mean, you know, super fancy naming convention here, but just something like that. Doesn't need to be super strong. Just a little something something, and apply. And then let me go back over here. So instead of the yellow glow, we're going to select the blue glow. And I'd kind of like to give this a test and see where we stand. And we'll just ignore those right there. All right, so it is hitting the enemy. We're getting those little bubbles coming out. The glow accurately was removed, but the particles remain. How does it look with multiple towers out here? Dang it, that one killed him. How does it look? So it's obviously it's obviously targeting the nearest enemy to each tower, which is good. Later on, I'll give them the ability to maybe target the enemy nearest to the end, or the enemy furthest from the end, or whatever, different criteria. I just need to get these particles removed, so let's do that real quick. Where do we have the particles? Those would be, let me go back down to the water section. What do we have for that? If water targeted is false, change. Yeah, so, okay, go back up then. Right here. Actually, not right here. Right here. We just need to take those particles off and we'll be in good shape. So, where am I deleting? Wonder where I'm deleting the particle for the Holy Tower. Let me look at that one, because we're borrowing a lot from the Holy Tower for this water tower. Right here, the Holy Sparks particle. So it still has infinite, so something is deleting it. Delete. Actually, Holy Sparks. Right here. So yeah, I forgot to expand it down. So if the water beam light is stuck to enemies, then we need to delete the water beam light. Same thing with the particle. If that is stuck to the enemies, delete the particle. Like so. All right. That should do the trick. Success. All right, so it's now basically mimicking the same thing that the Holy Tower does, but the effect will be different because it's going to impact the shielding. It's going to probably shield drain. Something like that. It's not going to life drain, but it's going to help remove shield so that the other towers can just target down their actual HP. The blood tower is going to do some more sinister things like a life drain and do heavy damage at the cost of your own life, which is actually light. That sort of thing. So let's remove this particle that's lingering out here on the scene. Don't need that anymore. All right. Final thoughts on this ability before we wrap this up. Let's see what we think. Let's get a few of these out here. You know what has been bothering me? I need to disable something here. Let's see if that worked. It did not. Because I've been playing with different level setups, and the layer for the player barrier, the thing that stops the player from being able to place towers anywhere, does not match up properly. It's this. Which is actually for a different level. I just haven't created a bunch of these manually for the other levels because I want to wait until they're finalized, so I don't have to do it for no reason. Player barrier layer. Oh, I know why. It wasn't a behavior. I think it was just a check down here for whenever you're placing a tower. So let me think. I need indicator. Or rather, I can just search for the player barrier object. Right here. I'm going to add a sub event here, drag that down and disable it. All right. And now I shouldn't have to worry about that kind of annoyance right now while I'm testing. So it'll still show up as red, but I can place towers wherever I want now. So God mode. Okay, so we obviously have a bug here. I'm glad I placed multiple. It seems to be swapping the tower head around. So let's look at the debugger. This is good. It's good to find these things. Find. So there's only one tower head on the scene at all. But we obviously still have multiple tower bases. So somewhere it's moving it. So right here, whenever we create the upgrade to the water tower from the base tower, it is deleting the initial tower head. It's kind of weird that this is taking place. Let me see. Tower heads. Change the animation. Create object. Just taking notes. I'm comparing it to a tower that I know works and seeing what is different. So it should stick that new tower head to the tower base and then link it. How odd. It doesn't do that with some of my other tower types, so something's different. See, I think I technically copied... I think it was this one, which has problems as well, so it's unfortunate that I copied that one. So let me go to the tower heads here. All right, this one generally works. Let me see what I have for it. That was... It does have the sticker behavior. The tower head has attack speed and ID. The water one... is also a sticker. And it has even more variables, but it's definitely got enough variables. How strange. Because if I create multiple holy towers, it doesn't have this problem. Well, at least it doesn't steal them from other holy towers. It does steal them from a base tower, though. So that's odd. So it's a recurring problem, which is why it's a good thing I found it right here. So this code is basically buggy. That's no surprise. So let's find out what I can do here. Probably... So whenever the tower upgrade button is clicked, so there's no check here to see which tower is being upgraded. Tower upgrade button is clicked. The Boolean value of the variable being upgraded of object tower base is true. Then take into account all buttons linked to it. So this is my check, but it seems like it's not very strong. If the Boolean value of the variable being upgraded of tower base is true, then consider all buttons linked to the tower base. And this works sometimes, but obviously not all of the time. Okay. And this is the check to see that we're deleting the correct tower head. So if the variable ID of tower heads is equal to tower base ID, then it deletes the tower head. So what I'm going to do is I'll come back to this. That's a big problem. It's not too terrible to solve, but it's a little bit boring. So I'm going to just finish testing out this water tower issue here. Let me see if I create one. And I swear I had 2 of these earlier. I'm certain I did, because I had 2 beams going. How did I do that? Oh well, I'll get it solved. But let's take another look at the beam. So, you know, it's okay. I think it works as like placeholder for now. So we're going to go with it. I just need to fix this tower issue where they're deleting the tower heads off of the other towers. It's kind of annoying. The good thing is that I found it. Like, that's been actually a bug that's in the game. It's been in the game for a long time now. Look at that. I feel like I changed something recently, though. I don't know. It's one of those things that caught me by surprise here tonight, but I'll get it figured out. Some of them work, some of them don't. Got a moon tower here. These orbiting moons are actually doing damage, so they're wiping out these enemies pretty efficiently. All right, let's recap all of our tower types. We've got the flame tower, which I added some new flames recently, and I think it looks quite a bit better than before. As well as the new explosion effect for the meteor that it shoots out. Has a little bit of an issue. Sometimes it overshoots. And so we're just wrapping this up, almost done here. We also had the blood tower. It doesn't do anything right now. It's just sitting there. It shoots a basic bullet. So let's get rid of that one. And then the fire tower we just looked at. The holy tower we looked at. The earth tower. For some reason it's going crazy because I told it to shoot a bunch of bullets out. But what it's really doing is it's growing these little healer guys and some spike growths. Let's get rid of that. And of course the water tower we just added tonight. We'll work on it, but it's effectively in the game now. It does something. And then the ice tower does not have any effects or abilities. Finally, the arcane tower we didn't look at all, and it shoots an arcane bolt. And it is doing damage. It's a big wave. All right, well, that is another item on the checklist here. Not that, this, where'd it go? Closed it. Let me pull up my checklist here. So for those towers, we have a water beam. I'm not going to cross it off just yet because I need it to actually do a little more with the shielding. but we did make progress on that, so that's really good. And I found a new bug that I'll be working on later on, off camera. So that brings us to the end of this particular stream. So if you hopped on, or if you're watching this in the future, thanks for your time. Appreciate you hopping on and checking this game out. Slowly but surely drawing closer and closer to what is an actual game that's playable. Hoping to get a workable public demo out there that people could play test before long. So it's Saturday night here, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. I hope your week's been going well. And until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the little notification bell if you enjoy watching the live streams. You can catch me live. I'd love to have you on and chat with you. And until next time, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. Thanks.